and welcome to CX Today. My name is Kieran Devlin, and today's session is the big CX update for ComputerTalk. I'm delighted to be joined by Blair Ferguson, Chief of Staff for ComputerTalk. Blair, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Kieran.
Before we dive into ComputerTalk itself, let's begin with a little about yourself, Blair. Could you please share a bit about your professional background?
Absolutely. So I'm coming up 20 years already with ComputerTalk, which I sometimes can't even believe. I actually started as a fresh grad out of school. My background was in sociology and human development, with a postgrad in HR. And so when I started with the business, I was more on the people side, doing traditional kind of HR, people management type things. And through the course of my tenure with ComputerTalk, I've tackled many various projects, including working as a member of the executive team and closely with the CEO to drive the direction and strategy of the business.
Perfect. And what are some of your favourite facts about yourself? We've got the very comprehensive, very interesting professional background. What are the things that you feel really sort of celebrate yourself that you're really proud of, or you little quirks that you're really happy with?
I think I have very high energy and very high tolerance for change. And what brings me to work every day and what makes me excited is that I get to work with incredibly smart people and help drive the direction of their careers as well as my own. And some of the challenging, more complex issues, projects that come along with growing a business.
And sorry, you touched on there about what really drives you to come into work today. But I was wondering if you could explore that in a bit more detail about what specific aspects of your job as chief of staff are you most passionate about?
I love people. I love culture. And ComputerTalk has really fostered an environment where I can dig in and work with people to uncover their talents and their passions and match that with the needs of the organizations and the gaps that we have as we grow. And it's really phenomenal to see somebody expand their own skills and their own talents and fill in voids and gaps that they never even knew they could do. And while doing that with them, I myself am pushed and challenged to grow and develop. So it's been quite an experience to take that energy and my passion to grow people and apply that to a business.
Well, I'm inspired just running on the other side of the computer screen. That sounds great. I was wondering if you could please walk us through what a typical day looks like for you as chief of staff, or even if it's quite a holistic role, as I imagine it will be, even a typical week, for example.
Yeah, well, I think you poked on something there. There really is no typical day. I mean, I have my strategic projects, which include, placing people in the right positions. We really look at ComputerTalk as kind of a puzzle when it comes to the projects, the clients, the strategic direction we're taking, and then, of course, each individual and how they play into those roles. And what's really fascinating is when you can match somebody's skills and passions and talents with a need, they really don't need to be micromanaged. And so it's my job to find those matches and place those people in the right roles that allow them to take off, as well as working with our partners and our customers and getting feedback on the business and how we can be the best technology partner to grow their business and provide them the services that they're looking for. So I really have a cross-functional kind of role in terms of all the projects that I get to have my fingers in and play with.
Great. Well, that sounds like a wonderfully varied role you have there. I guess moving on to the company itself. How would you describe your company in a nutshell? What is the elevator pitch for Computer Talk?
So ComputerTalk is the mastermind behind ICE Contact Center. And ICE is a cutting edge solution that integrates seamlessly with business applications. We've got some AI driven insights and we offer powerful analytics across all communication channels. We're also Microsoft Teams native, which I think is a huge differentiator for us. We've developed our platform to be very closely integrated with Microsoft, and we have a relationship with them that spans back, oh my gosh, since 2005. So I think we're one of the only vendors in the contact center space that has kind of that accolade and that direction in terms of the Microsoft Business Productivity Suite.
Absolutely, that's a massive asset. That's really, really interesting. And you're coming up for 20 years as well is really cool. I think almost, I guess, the next question, obviously, an expansion, going beyond the elevator pitch. Can you give us a little background on Computer Talk's history, its geographical presence, its size as a business?
Absolutely. So we've been in the industry for about 40 years. We started as a traditional IVR company, press one for English, press two for French. Over the years, we began to develop the platform to be all encompassing customer service solution. And so we provide now the contact center agent enablement as well as the IVR side of things. In 2005, we recognized that Microsoft really owned the desktop. They came out with Outlook, they had Excel, PowerPoint, and the business community was really starting to use all of those tools. And so we recognized it was really just a matter of time before Microsoft took a play at the phone. It was the only kind of desktop item that they hadn't yet got their fingers in. And we had been developing speech applications up to that time. And so we started working with Microsoft with their speech server solution, and we started building speech applications with them. And as I'm sure you know, Microsoft then kind of transitioned that into LCS, OCS. They bought Skype for Business and now Teams. And so through that entire evolution with Microsoft, we continue to work directly with their engineering team and tightly tying our contact center platform into leveraging some of those technologies, which brings us to where we are today, which is still an agnostic solution that can work really on any infrastructure, but is best suited to take advantage of those Microsoft skills and talents that they bring to the kind of UC and communication platform as well.
And looking internally, I think you of all people are well positioned to answer this next question. What would you say is unique about Computer Talk's culture? You alluded earlier, it's about the really sort of positive fostering between yourself and all the staff that you're bringing through. What would you say is most unique about Computer Talk that you really admire and respect?
Well, naturally, I'm going to be incredibly biased on this question, but it is 100% the people. I think it's so fascinating that about 70% of our staff joined us as fresh grads out of school. So, like myself, they have been kind of developed and fostered to uncover the skills and talents and passions that they have, and they've moved through various positions in the organization. And oftentimes, we joke with our customers and our partners that our staff will likely outlive the tenure of the relationship, or even them in their position over there. And I think we're up to about 45% of our staff have been with us for 10 plus years. So we really have a deep, rich understanding of our industry, of the types of clients that work well, the personas that we service and support. And so, again, I'm biased, but it always comes back to the people and our ability to set ourselves apart from the competition in terms of the relationships that we can build long term through some of the contracts that we've had.
That's amazing. That level of that loyalty and that investment between employer and employee is really impressive, especially in the 2020s. That's really cool. I wonder if you could please we're moving on to what the product proposition and what you guys offer a bit more. You discussed on the teams and the relationship with the contact center. I'm really cool and really interested in digging a bit more deep into this topic. What would you say is your guys' approach to market, and can you describe the sort of go-to-market strategies and partner ecosystem you've fostered?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think in a nutshell, we have three go-to-market strategies. One being kind of where we got started, and that was working with telcos and telephony providers. So if you think back to 40 years ago, the phone was really the primary source of information for the contact center, right? And so it was quite natural that clients would turn to their telephony or telco provider for advice on what should I do with my contact center. And so through those questions, we built really strong partnerships with some large telephony providers in Canada specifically, and starting to expand more into the US. What's interesting now is we've got offers like Operator Connect, Microsoft Telephony. So that kind of telephony telco ecosystem continues to evolve and continues to be a great source of new opportunity for us to sell into. The second area that we have seen some great growth, especially in the past 10 years, is in what we call kind of the Microsoft System Integrator ecosystem. And so these are organizations that are providing end-to-end IT services to their clients, everything from security to desktop to devices to Teams, Office 365. And naturally, clients are looking to them as experts in the IT field and saying, what about contact center? Where does this fit in? And so those partners have provided an additional kind of resource for leads and opportunities and areas where we can start to infiltrate into new client bases. And then thirdly, and more recently, I would say we've invested a lot more in our own marketing and our own brand awareness. And clients seem to be wanting to have direct relationships with their vendors. They want to, want that whole one throat to choke kind of concept. And so we're seeing more complicated and complex procurement processes, but being able to compete directly and get not have to necessarily go through a telco or through a Microsoft integration partner has also been an opportunity for us to work more closely with our clients and assist them through that kind of transition, migration, modernization, whatever you want to call it, in the contact center space.
Yeah, that's really cool, and I think as you say, like as more and more businesses want to their tech almost answered across the business, I think your guys have really tapped into a niche there that's really compelling. Moving on to the customer aspect or the partner aspect, who typically buys your guys' products and services?
So our typical clients have contact centers that are anywhere between, I would say, 25 and 500 seats. They're organizations that are primarily in North America, Canada, US. We're starting to see some expansion into Anglo speaking areas and French speaking areas like the UK, like Australia, France. The organizations typically have very complex security requirements. So our offering is ISO certified, we are PCI, and we are SOC 2 Type 2. So these are highly regulated industries typically. In almost every situation, they are going down the Microsoft path in some capacity, whether they're using Teams for IM and presence or they're going all in on voice. Dynamics, the whole kind of business productivity suite from Microsoft seems to be very important to them. And also, they want fixed costs. So we know some of our competition offers variable pay as you go type models, but our clients tend to want to kind of commit, know what they're spending on a month to month basis, and have that fixed operating cost.
And well, we've just discussed it across the entire call, but I think now's a good opportunity to delve into a bit more deeply into the key products and technologies. Naturally, you guys, as you've outlined, you have a swathe of contact center and CX team solutions, particularly in relation to Microsoft. But yeah, I was just wondering if there are anything we've not discussed so far that you'd really like to highlight and champion from you guys' product suite.
I mean, like all contact center solutions, we obviously have the full omni-channel suite of interactions available to allow agents to handle their inbound and outbound needs. I think what we're seeing the most in terms of interest and excitement with ComputerTalk is certainly that Microsoft integration piece. That's driving a lot of interest, a lot of opportunity for us, but also security. Security remains major. I mean, we've seen over the summer a couple global security disasters, right? We know that the complexity and sensitivity of information that often these contact centers are handling is of utmost importance to remain confidential and secure. And so that interest in our various compliance certifications is driving interest. And of course, AI, I have to say AI. And especially, real-time analytics, I think is the version of AI that is having the most interest in the market and driving people to explore new things like chatbots, and ways to assist agents in doing their jobs better.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. Things like real time analytics, they provide the tangible outcome from AI that often it feels like often quite an abstract concept when we speak with business users and on the customer side. So things like what you guys are doing around real time analytics, that's something that can be a tangible presentation to customers. So I think that's going to be massive, especially with agentic AI going into next year as well. I guess on I think this is a particularly interesting one. What would you say is your guys' typical implementation strategy, and how do you ensure ongoing support and customer success after the tech has already been established?
Well, as I mentioned, the contact center industry is very concentrated. There's a lot of different players, and it's not enough anymore to compete on technology and on features and functions. And so this is where it kind of taps into my passion and interest, because we get back to people and culture. And so when we're going through an implementation for a contact center, it's not just a quick rip and replace, keystroke in a few changes and bang, you're up and running. It really is a complicated process to transition from a legacy system over to something that's new, and then to integrate it into the various pieces that cross the industry, whether that's ERP, whether that's CRMs, all those types of things. So our people really behave like a technology business partner to our customers. We provide consulting services from the minute the salesperson is engaged all the way through to cut over, and then of course client advocacy thereafter. And so we really see ourselves as being extension to the team, to the client side of the team, and being able to work with the various folks on their side, because you've got to hit security, you've got to hit finance in some cases, you've got to hit IT, telephony. Everybody's got these silos that really come together when it comes to bringing the contact center to life and kind of modernized. And then as we transition into day two, it's not a simple cutover from bye bye project team, hello day two support. We've got a really experienced client advocacy team that engages and helps with that handover from project into support, and then ongoing from there every 30, 60, 90, quarterly, depending on, the client needs and what's going on. We want to continue to get adoption, to make sure that the client's investment in ICE is as expected, that things are working the way that they are. If we have any tips and tricks on how to optimize or find efficiencies in the platforms, we stay very connected across the organization throughout that entire process. And the fact that our staff, like I said, have been with us as long as they have some deep roots and some deep relationships that transcend. These cloud contracts can go anywhere from 3 to 5 years, with extension years beyond that. And so this isn't a short, quick relationship. When you do a contact center, this is actually quite a long term, marriage, so to speak. And so we want to make sure that it is effective, and the clients are seeing the value that they're getting from the solution.
And staying with the customers and partners, what are the topics that are dominating your conversations with them at the moment? Is there any particular area they're interested in or curious about, or any challenges they're raising with you guys that they'd like to see addressed? What are the big topics and trends that you guys are noticing in the market at the moment?
Yeah, the biggest one that we see in almost every client conversation is consolidation of analytics into customer records. And so if you think about, a large organization, they're going to have customer data in their sales vertical. They're going to have customer data in their finance vertical, in their support IT vertical, depending on exactly what they're doing. And the contact center is just another, silo that has information. And so clients are really starting to wonder, how do I bring all of these client information together in a dashboard and apply analytics, so I can really start to build a customer journey. And then when I'm thinking about my customer service, when I'm thinking about my contact center, I can take all of that into consideration and make sure that that information is being spread back out. So this consolidation, or this customer journey across the organization, is becoming, I would say, in a daily conversation with clients, which then of course bleeds into AI, and how can AI technologies help enhance this, or speed it up, and have real time automated virtual agents, of course, are also on the table. Basically anything that we can do to free up an agent from those mundane day-to-day tasks that will provide better service to their customers, is tabled in almost every client discussion we're having.
And what would you say are the key problems your technology solves for your customers? And over the years, as contact center technology, arguably more than any other, has evolved so dramatically over the last 10 years or so, how have those customers' needs changed in that time frame. We discussed about how you guys have developed and refined this Microsoft partnership over 20 years. I imagine those technology problems and customer demands have changed quite dramatically over the years.
Absolutely. So, um, naturally, a big one we see is I've gone all in on Teams. I'm using it for IM. I'm using it for presence. I'm moving to Operator Connect or turning on Microsoft Voice. What about my contact center? How does that fit in? So, I would say that's one of the challenges that we see often. The second one that we see often is old end of life equipment. You know, contact center is fairly legacy. It's not a brand new business process. It's been around for decades, right? Probably longer than both you and I. And yet that old CPE equipment just kind of ticks on and keeps going. And so the fact that they are getting depreciated or they're end of life and they're not getting renewed, clients are saying, uh-oh, what do I do now? And in most cases, that's when the conversation about migrating to cloud comes up as well, both for security, concerns, as well as being able to offer agents and employees the ability to work anywhere. So I would say cloud, Microsoft, old technologies, and then also there's organizations out there that have just been using traditional voice and that's it, and that has worked okay for them. But younger generations don't necessarily want to pick up the phone and talk to anyone anymore. They're on their mobile or they're texting or they're going online and they want to chat. And so there's also an increased interest in adding new modalities and new ways of communicating for different generations, and understanding that there are differences in how people choose to communicate.
And this is a one I'm always interested about. How does Computer Talk approach innovation? Can you explain your guys' process for gathering feedback and generating new ideas? I'm always very curious to discover all the inspired ways different companies produce new ideas for their products and services.
Absolutely. We have an ICE influencers program, which we just introduced about 18 months ago, which is our clients sign up to be part of the ICE influencers group, where they are able to provide feedback on our roadmap. They're able to provide feature function ideas, thoughts where they'd like to see the projects go, the product go. And they also get involved in giving us feedback when we do design a new element. They will get kind of sneak peek early opportunity to play with things and tell us how things are going. So our clients are hugely important to our innovation and what matters to them. At the end of the day, we're here for a reason. We're here to make money. So ensuring that our existing install base is well cared for and feels a part of where the ICE platform is going is super important to us. I think there's also something to be said about our culture approach to hiring and bringing on fresh grads. The fact that the business is 70% folks that were hired right out of school, you bring in talent that is, I'm going to say, not jaded, for lack of a better word, or fresh and new and modern, and communicates in different ways. And so just constantly bringing in that fresh blood and that new approach. We have people who are Gen Xers working with Gen Z, I believe is what they're called now. And so even that kind of internal innovation and just interest in trying new things, we are huge advocates internally of drinking the AI Kool-Aid and seeing how it can work for us. And if it works for us, how it might be able to work for our customers. And naturally, that think pot that just kind of happens when you get really passionate, excited people together about this type of technology. And then thirdly, our Microsoft relationship, having early access to some of the cool things that they're doing. They are a behemoth in this space. They are always innovating at a pace that, is difficult to keep up with, but being plugged into their engineering teams, being part of their technology adoption programs and getting early access to technology there allows us to kind of play around and see, what's possible with some of the concepts and ideas that we're bringing to market.
No, that sounds terrific. I think it's a really good point about the cross generational innovation and idea sharing as well. One final question before I let you go, Blair. Looking through your lens, what do you guys see as the biggest opportunity in our industry right now?
Well, I think I would be naive and silly if I didn't say AI is, driving a lot of interest. And I think it's such a fascinating thing to look at because it's so closely coupled with security. There is so much cool stuff that we can do with AI, and there's so many small companies that are popping up all the time doing other neat things. Um, but I think there is an awareness or a sensitivity to going too fast into the AI arena simply because of the security, compliancy, and just level of confidential and sensitive information that's handled through contact center. And so you're taking a business process like customer service and contact center that is legacy and been around for decades, as you and I have joked about, and you're applying this quick pace technology that, you know, is kind of unknown and is evolving so fast that we just don't know. And so I think that the next 10 years will be fascinating as we kind of bring that gap between security and AI and innovation a little more closely. And again, being the people person, it's not something to be frightened of. I don't believe that AI is here to like replace people and we're all going to lose our jobs and get taken over by, robots and robotic voices, but rather to look at it as a way that we can enhance what we do so that we can focus on the things that matter. And humans by nature want connectivity. We're social. We want to be with other people. And so if we can leverage this type of technology because it's coming, we shouldn't be afraid of it, to support us, enhance what we're doing so that we can continue to build those bonds and that human connection that we all need. I think there could be some really cool things that come out in the next, 5, 10 years.
Brilliant. No, I think that's a very profound way to end today's conversation. But it has been a terrific conversation, so thank you, Blair, for being here today.
Thank you so much, Kieran. It's been fun. I really appreciate your time.
And if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share on social media, and we'll see you next time. I've been Kieran Devlin of CX Today. Thanks for watching.